Good morning, it's Paul with Business Club, and I'm here with special guest Jarrod Goldsmith. So Jarrod is a Canadian small business community builder and is the embodiment of small business spirit. An archaeologist and a musician by education, he is one of Ottawa's best-known entrepreneurs and founder of eSAX, which stands for the Entrepreneur Social Advantage Experience, Ottawa's largest entrepreneur networking community for small business. Using a virtual event platform, Jarrod has pivoted to hosting remote events for others. In addition, he hosts both Ask the Fedora, which is a YouTube video series on entrepreneur networking, the eSAX podcast series, and is a founder of Sax Appeal, Canada's premier saxophone ensemble. So welcome, Jarrod. Great to have you with us today.
Well, thank you so much for having me.
Excellent. So I've been to a couple of your networking events, Jarrod, with eSAX, and great. You've had some big name guests there too, including you were actually hosted one of the grand openings for Ruckify with where you had co-founders Steve Cody, Bruce Linton, and Brett Wilson, obviously also Dragon's Den, and then you've built up a very successful networking, build a community with eSAX, and now you're getting into the remote networking platform, which you're actually helping other companies, other small business owners to develop that. So we'll get into that later. But first, I want to find a little bit get to know who you are and a little bit more of your background for our listeners, those that watch this video. So I wanted to ask you the 3 questions that you actually suggest in one of your YouTube videos for networking. So Jarrod, tell me where you're from.
Sure. Thanks, Paul. I'm originally from Montreal, and I met a woman and I tried to get a government job here in Ottawa, Ontario, Canada. So I moved down in about 2002, and it was really tough to get a government job. I had a graduate degree, as you mentioned, in archaeology, played music most of my life, but I wasn't pursuing those fields at the time. I just wanted a day job so that I could pursue my passion, my hobby, which was music, on the side. And I know you also have a background in music, Paul. So I love talking to fellow artists, and bounced around government for many years. And in 2011, I said, enough's enough. I'm tired of going on EI, followed by, say, 3 or 6 or 9 months of employment. And then it was contractual based work. And in 2011, I started Sax Appeal, which is an all saxophone ensemble, not very common in the music industry. Let's just say that most people, the public, have never heard or seen a band like this before. You know, you're getting married or you have a cocktail reception for 600 people at a gala, you're going to hire a jazz quartet. But 4 saxophones, very unique. And I was told at the time from some of my mentors, hey, you got to go network to get work. But okay, I didn't know what networking was, and I didn't like it, like most people. But I took it to the extreme, Paul. I went to every event for years. And in 2012, I started eSAX, and I thought, this is how I want networking to be understood. Friendly, relationship building, no sales pitches, camaraderie. And then I created my YouTube channel, just eSAX, ESAX, just in case. and they've been taking off ever since. So that's where I'm from, and that's how I started. That's where I am now. Okay, no, that's great. Yeah, we definitely share a lot in common, Jarrod. So yeah, tell us about your passion. Well, it's always been the music, and I've been hearing my whole life, hey, you're crazy. Don't go into it as a career. Get a real job. And I listened to everybody. But it got to the point where I wasn't happy in the government. I mean, I was happy to have a job, but it was a job. I was trying to find a career, but it didn't happen after so many years. So I thought, instead of relying on other people or organizations or even government for that matter for my employment status, I wanted to take matters in my own hands. And I became an entrepreneur. And I started treating my band like a business. And everything I've done since then has been all about branding, marketing, building a rapport relationship. It's that trust, that know, like, and trust. And when I got my Fedora, probably about 2012, 2013, it's really become a big part of who I am. So, you know, we got eSAX. The brand has really taken off. And I encourage anybody who is starting up a business or who's been in business for a while, reevaluate the brand. What does it feel? What impressions does it have in other people's eyes when they think of it or when they see it? And that takes a lot of time to work on. You know, it's consistency in all your social media posts. It's having social media engagement. It's having your videos, your podcast, doing a little videos like this, Paul. It really adds a lot to the credibility of your organization. And your organization, even if it's a 1 or 2 person shop initially, think of it like a much larger organization. That's how I've always approached it.
Okay, that's really interesting, Jarrod. Thanks for sharing that. Now tell us, I mean, you've built up a very strong, one of the Ottawa's top networking communities. I know that originally eSAX was connected with the Chamber Ottawa, what was formerly the Ottawa Chamber of Commerce, now the Ottawa Board of Trade. But you've been successful about building a large community. So tell us about, for those who want to build their own community, like maybe they want to become a coach or something, they're trying to start up their own community. What's the secret to building up a successful community as you've done with eSAX?
Sure, it's a matter of getting involved, seeing who the stakeholders are and the players, and collaborate with them, work with them. For instance, when I started networking, there were 5 separate standalone chambers of commerce in Ottawa. There's an Orleans Chamber of Commerce, a Canada Chamber of Commerce, Nepean Chamber of Commerce, Ottawa Chamber of Commerce, and the Francophone Chamber of Commerce, le Regroupement des gens d'affaires, RGA. I joined them all, and I went to every single one of their events. And there was a price point with this, you know, paying for your yearly membership, paying for all the events and the galas. It wasn't cheap, but I was developing the rapport in the business community, for the most part, larger businesses. And my market were small businesses. I really wanted to make more of a headway in promoting entrepreneurship and small businesses. And so at the time I thought, you know, as a musician, I'll play a gig anywhere. It's music, right? Like, I don't care where I play. I'm happy to play anywhere I can. And I thought, business has no boundaries. Everybody says that. So why should all of these different chambers be delegated to their specific geographical regions without collaborating with one another? So I started eSAX originally to bring together chambers of commerce for small business. And then over the years, I've been very active in the amalgamation of the various chambers. The Canada Chamber and the Nepean Chamber merged into the West Ottawa Board of Trade. A few years ago, all of the remaining chambers joined now what's called the Ottawa Board of Trade. And I was very instrumental in this. I was sitting on the board of one of the Orleans Chamber of Commerce for a while. And I thought, this is what the chamber should be. It's collaborating, representing the voice of business. And this is what I've been striving for so many years with eSAX, is that there's no boundaries in business. We want to collaborate and find other ways to work together. Because, Paul, you've probably seen it. You're in a business, maybe competing with others, but those who are so territorial won't go far. It's those who really want to make a difference and assist other people, even if it, you know, they might not get the client right now, it's going to come back to them. And I've always thought that business is small, at least Ottawa is a small town, that people talk. It doesn't matter where you are, it's your credibility in the community. And I just wanted to help people. All my videos, I don't monetize on that, I'm far from it. But we have over 600 videos on YouTube, and a lot of them, as you mentioned, are Ask the Fedora videos. They're 1-minute little clips to help other people learn about entrepreneurship and networking. That's why I started my podcast series. Don't monetize on it, but it's a resource to help others.
Excellent. So speaking of making a difference, Jarrod, I've attended some of your, for some of the eSAX events, and there's a strong presence of Ability First, and as well as you're raising funds with the sale of the eSAX to donate to CHIO, the Ottawa Network of Education, and Ability First. So yeah, tell us about you know, that aspect of your networking, about making a difference, and you know, with your partnerships with Ability First.
Absolutely. So I never thought that. I mean, I always thought it was selfish if you're in a business only to make money, and people see that they don't take too kindly to this. I always thought it was wise to have a charitable component. Doesn't matter how successful you are, if you're just launching, partner with some organizations, find some like charitable groups or nonprofits who really resonate with your mission and what you want to do, and cross promote and try to assist whatever you can. So when I started selling these eSAX, yeah, I approached the Ottawa Network for Education, the Junior Achievement, and the CHIO Foundation, the Max Keeping Fund, and Ability First Ottawa. So for every pair that we sell, $1.50 goes towards these 3 charities. And then what's even better, Paul, is I have this open invitation for other businesses to come on board and match the donation. For instance, right now I have 2 organizations, Rob Cowater and Doug Bates of Brown Bag Enterprises. So for every pair sold, $4.50 is split between these 3 charities. And it's quite an impact. So I love supporting Ability First. Christina Ranieri and her team does some great work promoting disabled people to live normal lives. The Max Keeping Fund over at the hospital, the CHIO Hospital, helps sick kids. And Ottawa Network for Education promotes entrepreneurship for youth. All 3 of those are very dear to my heart. So I'm very pleased to have such active participation and engagement.
Excellent. Yes, and I'm very familiar with those organizations you mentioned. I was a volunteer with the Ottawa Network of Education, their program going to teaching with classes with grade 5s and teaching how to start a business, and that is great program. And
I just
of course
wish they had programs like that when we were young. Boy, who knows?
Exactly. And yeah, exactly. I mean, that's one thing I'm always saying too. Like let's teach practical skills like, you know, budgeting, you know, even like, you know, they used to have home ec, you know, where you learn how to like sew your clothes and that, like, just like I think the most important thing you could ever learn is cooking. Like, you know, the most practical thing, like, why do we not teach cooking as a mandatory high school course? You know, probably the most practical thing you'll have for the rest of your life. And, you know, and budgeting, like, you know, what is like accounting for like, you know, in terms of budgeting, understanding taxes, understanding how to, because that's why so many Canadians or North Americans get so deep into debt, is because they just they get a credit card, you know, at university, and then they just live off that credit card. But, you know, just teaching budgeting, it takes
and mentors like you to get involved in the community and show other people. And that's what I've always thought my role was at eSAX. I mean, yeah, we hosted those great events every quarter, and we brought in these great guest speakers and the collaboration. Actually, that eSAX event, you were the one when we had Brett Wilson and Steve Cody when he launched Ruckify, that was also the day that cannabis got legal. And we had Bruce Linton, the co-founder of Canopy Growth. It was a huge, anyways, it was right before I interviewed Bruce Linton. He said, I was just interviewed by Anderson Cooper. Wow, that is pretty cool. So, but nothing like this happens overnight, Paul. It takes years. You know, you heard the overnight success takes many years, but people talk about it's being true to who you are. You know, what do you believe in? I believe in these charities. I believe in supporting the community, and I want to stay in business. Everything I'm doing, every podcast, every video, every social media posts is to develop more of that rapport with people. You know, if I was in it just for the money, I would have closed many years ago.
Yeah, no, Jerry, we have a lot in common. I mean, my guest last week was Steve Cody, and my guest next week is Bruce Linton. So Bruce Linton is actually joining me for a half an hour presentation. I was able to get that set up by connecting with Steve Cody, but Bruce, extremely successful. I mean, he's worth probably over 200 million. Sold, founder of Canopy Growth, the largest cannabis company in the world, and he's now starting up cannabis businesses in Europe, helping get that off the ground. But of course, you know, running Ruckify and some other businesses. So be incredible conversation. I'm really excited and looking forward to that next week. So Jarrod, tell me about you're getting into Remo, which is a virtual video conferencing software, and you're helping other business owners to learn all about that. So tell us more about what's Remo is all about.
Sure. Well, when I first started thinking of going virtual, you know, when COVID hit, I started looking for a platform that would be great for networking, have breakout rooms, have a stage, a presentation that could, you know, a recording session, and had everything I'm looking for. I became very adept at using this platform to the point that I consider myself an expert on this platform, that I host other people's events using it. And I find it, you know, sorry to all the Zoom users out there, but much more effective than Zoom for different things, conferences, trade shows, networking events. I absolutely love it. And more information is just esax.ca, virtual events. And I have promo videos and talking about it, because a lot of people, let's say conference event planners, you know, they have some great content, but they don't know what to do with it, or they don't know how to go virtual. And I help take the ease I make it easy for them. I set up the platform, give them a little tutorial, show them how it works, and give a dry run to their guest speakers or their attendees. And I pretty much handle all the behind the scenes and do some MC work if they need, and just make the event run smooth. And this is such a vital need now that I think is never going to go away. So this is my pivot, right? Not many people are hosting 300, 400 people events these days, maybe soon. But in the meantime, and the music, nobody's hiring musicians. So even though for years now I've been booking other musicians, kind of like a music agent, nothing's happening now. So my pivot is by promoting this platform to help other people run their conferences, trade shows, and even one-on-one meetings.
Yeah, no, I've used Remo. I've gone through I've taken the training course. It's amazing because what you're basically doing is you're taking a live networking or a live conference and you're putting it on a virtual platform. So you can actually go into individual rooms. So just like, say, for example, you're at a networking event, you want to, hey, I want to meet those two guys. I want to talk to this person privately. So you can actually go into your own table and have like a one-on-one or like, a three-way or a four-way conversation.
Yeah, I mean, what I love most about this, Paul, is that to me, and I've been to thousands of networking events, it literally mimics a face-to-face networking event. Because, Paul, like at a networking event, you're walking with your cocktail, you're only talking to 2, 3, 4 people at a time, not 40 like on Zoom, where you see everybody on the thing. Here, the breakout rooms are up to 6 people max. And you're having a conversation with only people in that room. You could share your screen. You could have a chat feature. It's unbelievably intuitive, easy to use. For instance, I'm doing, one of my clients is, the guy contacted me from Washington, D.C., and he says, hey, Jarrod, I'm having a high school reunion. Can we use your platform? I said, absolutely, it's great. Yeah, but our class is from 1963. Okay, no problem. They're all seniors. Okay, no problem. It's that easy to use. Yeah. And you said it, like, I know, Zoom has the breakout rooms, but on this platform, you could see everybody else in the whole conference at different breakout rooms. And you just double click an empty table and brings you right there. It is super easy. And it's the best thing I've seen for virtual events. Totally sold on it. I absolutely love it.
Yeah. Well, congratulations on pivoting your business. And I just want to also touch upon some really cool things that you were doing. Like, let's get back to eSAX. So first of all, you were, one of the really cool things was the speed networking, which I really liked, but also now you're getting into more exclusive events. So would you mind just touching upon those two aspects of eSAX?
Sure. Well, I mean, eSAX is open to anybody, right? And there were paid events. Every 3 months we would host a big trade show and we have a great speaker. But like anything, Paul, business gets stale after a while. And I realized this at the very beginning. I was in a very unique opportunity because I held physical events every 3 months. I wanted to do something a little bit different every 3 months. So it wasn't the same old, same old. Yes, my band always played background jazz music as people are networking. Very classy. Food, Pita Pit was always there. It was great. One of the events, actually, we've had 2 speed networking events. And we did, do you know what a mannequin challenge is? It was really popular a couple of years ago where everybody in the room stops and then the camera pans around the room. So you're like in mid-sentence. I know Paul McCartney did one of these. President Barack Obama did. Anyways, it was really big on social media. And we did that, 3 or 4 years ago. And we had, 400 or 500 people standing still for 10 minutes. The mayor of Ottawa was there. And it was really cool. You could see a bird's eye view on what the events are all about. The bar and the band, everybody's just standing still with the drinks. And it was incredible. I think it was Ottawa's largest mannequin challenge. That was a lot of fun. We did a singing challenge. We had a karaoke machine and people were singing, groups of people, entrepreneurs. And then I spliced the videos into various little clips and it's all on the YouTube channel. A lot of fun. So it's a fun event. That's what eSAX was. And it's a matter of keeping it fresh and exciting. And the exclusive events, I thought, these events are big networking events. But I've been hearing over the years that people will find value in smaller, more intimate events, let's say with people like Steve Cody or Bruce Linton, high-end speakers, to have one-on-one with them in a high-end restaurant, bar, patio, that sort of thing. So I started these events in August 2019. And actually, Steve Cody was our very first guest at that event, limiting it to 15 people. food, drinks, much higher ticket price. But to have a chance to chat with those types of people one-on-one for 20 minutes, half an hour is priceless. And every month I started doing an event like this. We've had some great speakers, great guests rather, at these events. And now we've gone virtual with these events. They're called exclusive experience. And that's exactly what they are.
Excellent. Well, that's really interesting, Jarrod. And also, for when you're running eSAX, because you have quite a large team there. How did you go about building your team? Are they mostly volunteers, or these people that how does that process work?
Right. A lot of it is the gumption. I don't have any staff. My partner helps me out a lot, and she's been a big asset to help me. And she was the one who came up with the idea for the mannequin challenge and the singing challenge. And so she's offered a lot of great feedback. All volunteers. I have a couple of stellar volunteers who help with the volunteer coordination, some marketing, and I've partnered over with Algonquin College. They have an events management program, and for years, their students have been volunteering at my events because they need hours in order to graduate from the event management certificate program. So I'm mentoring and training these event planners, and they're offering assistance on the day of my events. It takes a long time. It takes all day. We arrive at the venue by 8 a.m. and the event doesn't start until 5 p.m. I mean, you could just see some of the work that goes into here. We have, what is this? Anyways, a carpet. It's a huge undertaking, and it took years to actually accumulate all this branding. Anywhere from the metal A-frames outside the building to a customized sofa. I don't know if you can see it over there. The media wall. Anyways, but I had this long-term vision in mind. And if they say in business, you're always thinking of the next thing. Well, I was thinking 2 or 3 events ahead. I usually plan my events a year in advance. Now with the virtual, everything's changed. So I'm not doing the in-person events, but I'm still doing these exclusive virtual events and hosting events for others. And you know what? You could let the world take care of you, or you could have the world be an adversary for you. It'd be tough. I think thinking ahead and thinking what you could do, even if you don't have the entrepreneurial mindset, everybody's talking about the side hustle. Your day job might be in peril. What would you do if you're able to do your passion as a full-time career? Whoa, most people don't even think about it that way. They say you like making soap. Have you ever been to a trade show and sold a few? What does that feel like? It feels good, I'm sure. Well, what would it take for them to realize that they could turn their hobby into a business? And that's what I love talking about. I give inspiration. I talk about this, and many of my videos would probably be very useful for people who are on the fence or not so sure what's involved with entrepreneurship.
Yeah, and we've seen what you've done. Obviously, build up a big following, and just especially that big event with Bruce Linton and Steve Cody. So what's next for eSAX? Because obviously we're in a challenging time when right now you can only get a maximum of 10 people in a room together, and then they have to wear masks, social distance, and all that. So what's next for? As you said, you're thinking in advance, thinking of the next steps. So what's next for eSAX?
Well, continuing with the virtual events is huge. And I want more people to understand that there's other alternatives besides Zoom or WebEx. Having somebody on site at your event to manage is valuable. And I think once people see this new platform, they are totally going to be sold. And that's why I'm just trying to direct people to eSAX.ca. And I give little promos. And this is a viable opportunity for people to continue hosting their events virtually. And I believe I have the perfect platform for that. So that's the future for now.
Excellent. Well, that sounds great, Jarrod. Well, I think this has been a great, we learned some great things. If people want to set up Remo for their virtual events, they can contact you, eSAX.ca, or you're also on social media. I think you're on all the platforms there, so easy to get a hold of, and you can help them get up and running with their events. Anyway, Jarrod, it's been great pleasure having you on today, and we share a lot in common, so it's always both as professional musicians